Well, I'm Laura Dorsey, and I'm with the Infinite Scholars Program. Infinite Scholars does one thing, we do one thing well. We help send students to college. We do this with our network of over 400 colleges and universities that partner with us on this initiative. One of the main focuses that we have is our scholarship fairs. We facilitate 27 scholarship fairs across the country, and at our scholarship fairs, we have 50 to 100 of our premier partners attending our scholarship fairs. So today, one of our partners that attends our scholarship fairs on a regular basis is Winston-Salem State University. Let me tell you a little bit about them before they come on and give you the full details about themselves. Winston-Salem State University was originally founded as Slater Industrial Academy by Simon Green Atkins on September 28th in 1982. It's located in Winston-Salem, North Carolina, where you will enter to learn and depart to serve. This historically Black college and university, HBCU, has a student population of 6,000 students, which gives a 13 to 1 student teacher ratio. Students can choose from more than 40 undergraduate majors and 10 graduate programs, including master's and doctorate degrees through its School of Health Sciences and colleges of arts, science, business, and education. WSSU is one of the most affordable universities in North Carolina. The tuition is just under $20,000 per year. The campus is home to the Diggs Gallery, one of the top 10 African American galleries in the country that portray contemporary and early African American art. The session today we have to provide you the information is being conducted by Reginald Jones. Reginald is an admissions counselor for undergraduate admissions at Winston-Salem State University. Reginald, thank you so much for being with us today and providing our students and parents with information about Winston-Salem.
No problem. Thank you guys for having me today. So I will go ahead and get into our presentation. Again, like she said, my name is Reginald Jones. So be the next. Be the next is one of the mottos that we do go by here at Winston-Salem State University. Be the next means to be the next innovator, next entrepreneur, next anything that you would want to be as far as your dreams, your goals, and aspirations. We will help you reach those goals here at Winston-Salem State University. So this is what WSSU empowers you to be the next for. Again, an innovator, an inventor, problem solver, educator, an activist, communicator, and entrepreneur. College is more than just about books and classes, it's about survival. What we mean by that is when you come to WSSU, it's more than just about being in that classroom, in that setting, it's about getting an experience, especially an HBCU experience. Like she stated before, we are a historically Black college and university. One of the most affordable colleges and universities in North Carolina. So like we talked about and we'll get into later is tuition. And these are just a few things our students say about WSSU. You can define who you are here. A lot of students do find themselves in college, but to be an African-American student or a student want to know more about the HBCU culture, you kind of find who you are and you figure out who you want to be. And so that's why you enter to learn to partly serve. That's what that motto means to us here at WSSU. These are a few things also that makes us unique. We have a welcoming environment, small classes, tradition and history, recreation research, and internship opportunities. So with the small classrooms, 13 to 1 student teacher ratios. Students love to have that feeling to where they have the connection with their professor and that they can also, schedule timing to sit aside with their professor and just get to know more about whatever the classroom setting is and how they need to learn. Also with just understanding what their teaching method may be, because all students learn differently. So a lot of the professors do love to reach out to their students to kind of help their students feel more comfortable in the classroom. So these are our current freshman minimum course requirements. So as you see, there are the English, math, science, social science, and foreign language requirements. Those will be displayed on your transcript. So when we say for Englishes, you have the English 1 through 4, and then you have math, 4 units of math. So when we say 4 units of math, we're talking about Algebra 1, Algebra 2, geometry, and anything higher than Algebra 2 as your 4th math. And when it comes to your sciences, you have to have 3 sciences that consist of biology, an earth and environmental science, and a physical science. Social science, you're looking at, For social sciences, you're looking at having History 1 and History 2. One has to be a world history and the other has to be an American US history. When it comes to foreign language, you're looking for a Spanish 1 and Spanish 2. People like to get stuck on the foreign language because it can be tricky sometimes. We're looking for consecutive foreign language. So like I stated, a Spanish 1 and Spanish 2 would be a consecutive foreign language. When it comes with our GPA, SAT, or ACT requirements, GPA, you have to have a 3.0 or higher, or SAT 1010 or higher, or an ACT of 19 or higher. So you have to meet one of the 3 requirements. Now, if you don't meet the GPA, you have to at least have a 2.5 and one of the test scores. These are a list of our undergraduate majors here at Winston. One of our most popular majors here is nursing. We are top in the state of North Carolina for our nursing program. Business administration is one of our popular majors as well. 90% of our students graduate with a job after graduating from North Carolina. Excuse me, I apologize. I'm a little nervous. From Winston-Salem State University with a business administration degree. 90% of those students will graduate with a job. And these are a few minors as well. And then other programs outside of that, you can receive certain certificates in different programs as well while you're here at WSSU. With being in those majors, all of our majors do offer study abroad. You just have to check with that department and make sure when they're offering it, because they can offer it during different times. A lot of students do normally suggest to take it over the summer. That way it's not interfering during their first or second semester of courses. And this just gives you just an overall view of our student numbers here at Winston-Salem State. So again, student population is roughly 6,000 now, just because we have grown since the last year. And then it also talks about our undergraduate program. We have over 100 plus organizations, including Greek Life. And then we have 5 men varsity sports, 8 women varsity sports. And then we also have housing. Housing is assigned by residence hall of class. When it comes to the class size, they are looking at Atkins will be all female. And then we also have other residence halls that are, I'm so sorry. I'm a little nervous. Our residence hall, we have Atkins Hall, which is all females dorm. And then our other residence halls, they are all co-ed. Excuse me. This gives you a list of our tuition and fees of in-state and out-of-state. We'll also get into our residency. So there will be a residency that you will have to give as far as in-state students. As an out-of-state student, you will not have to give that residency number. And I will give you that address shortly. We also have scholarships. So we have 2 merit-based scholarships. We have the Provost scholarships and we have the Chancellor scholarship. Chancellor scholarship is a full ride. The Provost scholarship is a partial scholarship. You will have to meet a GPA and SAT or ACT test score requirement. And then there will be an essay involved once you move further into the honors program. These are other scholarships that may be available for you if you want to take down that website. This was the residency number that I was talking about. So you'll actually go to this website and you'll fill out the information. It takes all of 5 minutes. You'll need to keep up with that residency number, as you may have to use it for other institutions as well that are in North Carolina, just to show that you are an in-state student. If you do not give this residency number, you will be charged as an out-of-state student. These are our social medias that we do offer. If you want to follow us on any page just to kind of stay updated and also see what we do offer on campus. If you guys have any questions, feel free to ask.
Reginald, thanks so much for providing all of that information to us. I think that our parents and students are just going to be amazed with the wealth of information. I do have a couple of questions, though, that follow-up questions that I would like to ask you. You talked about the internship programs that you have there. Can you tell us like some of the different companies or whatever that participate in internship programs, what organizations the students have to look forward to with the internship programs?
I know with some of the business students, as far as BB&T was a big company that a lot of students, as far as in accounting, that they connected with, and a lot of those students end up getting a higher end corporate job. So those students did very well. I know that was one big company that a lot of students kind of go for. That's one of the popular internship students kind of talk about and rave about that we do have here at WSSU.
Okay, then, all right, perfect. Now let's go back to the students and the applications. Most schools have an application date and then they have a deadline date, and then some of them have rolling dates or whatever. Can you provide us, the students and their parents, the dates for applications, the deadlines rolling? What does it look like at Winston-Salem?
So for the fall, you're looking at September. Normally we try to go off the date of September 1, just depending on when that date falls. If that date falls on a Monday, then September 1, or Tuesday, September 1, that's when that'll normally fall on. What we do have now, we have a portal. So when you actually apply to the university, you can apply online, and you'll create a portal account so that you can see once your application is complete, once you receive your test score, once you receive your transcript, and also once we've made a decision on your application. You see all that on the WSSU portal, but you'll create that portal before actually going into the application.
Okay, now when you talk about the application and the portal, one of the things that we know is that students can, especially in this day and age, taking the ACT and the SAT, which is like needed for some of your scholarships. If a student completes an application, say in September, and then in December they take another ACT and they do better in their test scores, can they update this portal, continuously with better test scores or
Yes, ma'am.
better transcript scores?
Yes, ma'am. So anytime you send an updated, if it's as far as the deadline, as far as scholarships, normally scholarships, they end in December. They normally vary that date just because of the requirements may change or what they need for the scholarship may change. But December is normally the time for the deadline of scholarships. Now, application, that normally doesn't end until around June 15th. I know this year was June 15th to receive all documents. So anytime you've taken an SAT or ACT and you did better, you can send that test score over to us at any time. One thing I did forget to mention about the SAT, since you said sending new scores, we super score the SAT. So if a student does better on the second test score and wants to send that second score, we can take that highest math from the second score and the highest reading from the first score and combine it together so you can get a higher score.
Okay. All right then. Okay, perfect. That is good to know for that. Take a look at that. One of the things is that we do know that every student that applies to college doesn't get in. So can you tell me what is your admissions rate for freshman students getting in? What's the percentage of students that apply that actually get into Winston-Salem?
So 86% of our students normally get admitted from as far as the freshmen. And normally the reason it could be little things of why they didn't get admitted, because it's not always test scores, because a lot of students think it might be just testing that's holding them back. But that's why I was real kind of particular with the transcript as far as the English, the math, the sciences. Because sometimes even it came with students, they've taken a foreign language, they took a Spanish one and a French one, and they had the test scores and they had the GPA, but we couldn't admit them because they didn't meet our MARs, which are our transcript requirements. So it's very technical. That's why that little percentage of students not getting it, it's not based fully on just test scores. And since we super score, that kind of helps the students as well as get admitted. So with the 86%, I think that's very well for a lot of the students that we take in and that apply to WSSU. So this year we're hoping to reach our number of 1,000. So we think that's actually going to happen just because students have done so well with doing their test scores and actually getting the information out of how to actually meet those requirements and make sure you meet every goal, every requirement.
Okay. Now, you talked about the tuition for in-state and out-of-state. Okay, and there's a significant difference between that. We were talking about how we can do that. Is there some type of out-of-state fee waiver? Is there anything that for a student who's out-of-state who wants to go that can help reduce that particular figure down?
So we don't have a fee waiver or anything as far as tuition. I do know that DC students have the DC tag. So that helps them as far as in their financial aid packet, as far as covering school. Um, but as far as any out-of-state students, the only thing that will help them cover the cost will be our scholarships that we offer.
Okay.
And the Chancellor Scholarships, like I said, if you're looking for a full ride, you'll want to go for the Chancellor Scholarship. A partial scholarship would be that Provost Scholarship.
Okay then. All right then. All right. And so that would help them there. So if they went for that Chancellor Scholarship, whatever, it would help deviate that cost of the out of state.
Well, the Chancellor Scholarship would fully cover their tuition. But as far as the difference of out of state, we don't have. The only thing that I know that does the difference are the students from DC. They get the DC tag, and it covers that out of state tuition for them.
Okay then. All right, fine. We talked about the 80 some odd percent of your students that are allowed to that apply or admitted. Can you tell me what is your freshman retention rate then?
Freshman retention rate is 65%. And that's still a good number, just as far as from what the overall number is, as far as retention rate for students to stay in school.
Right.
So we're still doing exceptionally well with that. And also the number is still growing. I see that number being a little bit higher this year because a lot of our freshman students stayed this year because they enjoyed, even with the pandemic and everything that they had to go through, they still are enjoying it and still want to continue because of that home feeling, like the presentation explained. People still felt home through the computer, so they still want to keep that feeling going and still want to get that through their next years of college. So
you have a tagline of enter to learn, depart to serve. So can you tell me what is the graduation rate, and tell me what, not only the graduation rate, some of the companies that the students who graduate, with some of the companies that they go to?
Mm-hmm. So we have graduation rate of 76%, which for me, I think is fairly good as a young African-American graduate from an HBCU. That's a fairly good amount of students. And those students normally, nursing is one of our popular majors, we have a lot of nurses. So, Duke is really good hospital. A lot of students like to go work for. Chapel Hill as well. Of course, in Winston, Wake Forest is a great hospital. And then we've had people work at Emory in Atlanta. Then we also have, of course, education majors. So we start off as a teacher's college. So a lot of our students do start teaching in Winston. They go back to teaching the high school. I'm teaching in the Durham-Raleigh area. And then I actually met a principal throughout this year. He was explaining how he graduated from Winston, and he was in a smaller town in North Carolina. But those are just a few as far as from our top majors that we do have here at Winston, because the nursing business, which I talked about earlier, because BB&T is one of the companies that hire some of our students, especially in that counting area, throughout the internships that we offer.
Okay, all right, perfect. Tell me a little bit about the student life on campus. Tell me what a typical dormitory residence hall looks like. What is that? Is that 2 to 3 students to your room 4? Do they have their own individual suites? What does that look like?
So as a freshman entering in, you're looking at just a regular residence hall, just you and your roommate. Some are lucky enough to get into a suite. That's if, the freshman residence halls have overflowed and they have to go into the upperclassmen residence halls. So some freshmen do get suites. If you are in a suite, sometimes those suites could be just 2 people. Some suites could be 4 people. So it just depends on how that suite is set up and what style it is. Now, if you are in a suite, it is more expensive than a residence hall. So the nicer your room, the more accommodation you have as far as having your own shower, your own bathroom, that's going to get more expensive. So, and then like I did state, the only female residence hall we have is Atkins Hall, and that's a freshman dorm. But the everyday life of, especially coming on campus as a freshman, the first week is full of events. Of course, getting you acclimated with the campus, let you know what WSSU about, our motto, our morale, kind of how we do things at Winston-Salem State. But then, the next week classes start, which a lot of the students during that first week, they had a transition with their legacy leaders to know where their classes will be held. So the first day of class normally is a breeze for students, it's just kind of getting used to I'm in college now. I'm not in high school. So I think that's the biggest transition as far as coming to WSSU. Understanding that high school to college life, that transitioning. But students at Winston, they seem to acclimate well, like I think because it is a small university. So it's nice to meet people, and easier to meet people as well. So since you have that real intimate setting, it's very nice to kind of have, and it makes that transition easier for the students. But a fun day that I think that Winston normally has, it could be a Wednesday. A lot of people that are familiar with HBCUs, we have Chicken Wednesday and Fish Friday. But it'll be a Wednesday. Of course, you're going to class. A lot of students are dressed up that day, because just to show off your outfit, to see how you are. And the DJ normally sets up downstairs outside. And so like it's normally during the spring or early in the fall. So it's a nice hot day, you smell the fried chicken or whatever size they have, but everyone's having a good time outside. So it feels like honestly a home cookout. Just I have to go to class after everything is over, but students enjoy themselves. So that's the part of the experience that we want you to feel. So it's not just, like I said, it's survival. So it's not just, you just your books and just your classes. It's understanding how to go throughout your everyday life, but adding a little fun in it at the end of the day. So that's like really that might happen once or two times out of the week. So as far as a freshman transitioning in, I feel like that's something they'll enjoy because it's different. But that's like a few things that kind of touch in as far as everyday life, because you won't get that every day, but just an average day. We also have swings outside, so students like to do their work outside on the lawn. So you'll see that a lot. I think Winston is just really pretty on a rainy day, but on a sunny day, you see everyone out enjoying themselves, enjoying class. So because classes, I think they come outside more to do more experiments and things like that. So you actually, if you're catching a tour during that session or during that time, it's actually a good day to see like Winston at its best.
Okay, all right, perfect. I think that gives us a whole plethora of information that they can be able to look at. Now, Reginald, is there any one thing that you wanted to say that we forgot to say, that we forgot to cover, maybe that I forgot to ask? And if you want to just make sure that you give the website again so that our students and parents, if they missed it during the presentation or whatever, they have it from you again.
So our website is wssu.edu. That's www.wssu.edu. And it has all our information on the website that I explained in the presentation. It also has our email up there if you have any questions or any concerns about an application or when to apply. I did want to say for students that may not meet those requirements, you can also reach out, like I said, to the admissions email box, and we can kind of assist you on what your next step could be, because we know that everyone wants to go to college, and if Winston is your choice of school that you really want to attend, we can still assist you on how you can get into WSSU. I normally tell students that they can transfer in which it's a cheaper option. You can go to community college, and then you can transfer into WSSU so you can come and get your degree. So we try to keep students motivated and to know that just because you didn't get admitted as a freshman, that's not the end. So that you can still keep coming and that Winston can still be your dream school. So that is one thing I did want to add in there.
Okay, all right, perfect. That the ability to be able to transfer. Okay, well, fine. Reginald, again, thank you so much for providing us information today. Looking forward to seeing you out on the Infinite Scholars Scholarship Fair Tour.
Thank you. I look forward to seeing you as well. Thank you guys for having me as well.